Thank you.
Okay. So what I was thinking is, I don't know if I'm fond of doing the 501c3, and the reason why is because I just don't want to be part of their system.
Same here, Tricia.
And I got that from you, Sean. I really did. But here's the thing: if we start off and we get things going, because that's what we're going to have to do anyway, in order to get any type of grants, and try to stay out of the old system as long as we can, I think we'd be better off just trying to start a cooperative. I think it can be done, because other people have started community gardens and they've gotten property donated to them, and it didn't take any money. And I also would like to bring up the fact that I think that one of our projects should be that we do something without any funds, and just do people power and make it happen, and the funds will come.
Pro bono, called pro bono. That'll get you away from all the attacks. Pro bono.
So that's just my opinion. I hope nobody's freaking out right now, because I don't really think it's a good idea. The other thing that I wanted to bring up too is my friend, her name is Faith. I'm not going to say her last name, but I actually got her to submit a project to the People's Club. She actually has a system where she's bringing down the MERS system, and she has a writ in the Supreme Court right now. And in it, it's basically taking everybody, and it's shutting down the judges and unseating them for the current system, because we're in maritime law still. And it's putting it back into common law. And in this thing, and she started it because people were getting their homes taken, they were getting their kids taken. And so she did this writ. It's in the Supreme Court, and part of it is called, there's something in there called the Nevis system. And it's like a reciprocity system where even though people are going to get their homes back, they still had a mortgage attached to them. So what they're going to do is they're creating a system where it's kind of like that whole thing that, I don't know if anybody has ever heard of the MULP, the monetary units and the life points. It's kind of a system where they give back to pay off whatever debt they have through that. And it gets people from being addicted to the money and go into the new system. And my thought is, why not just see, since we have to get this off the ground anyway, why don't we just give it a little time before we start trying to go for a 501c3 or be part of their system? Because I think that's part of the problem. And just move forward anyway, because that's what we have to do anyway. And then later on, if we still decide we want to do grants and we want to do the 501c3, we all can. But that's kind of my opinion. And I think that what ties in with that, and what I had said the other day on the Zoom call with Demi and Jim and Michael, was that I'm going to start off simple, because I can see all the stuff that we need to do, but I found, and I had talked about this last week, and I haven't called him, but he's like the director of the major, like all the major community gardens in San Diego. And so that's why I decided to make the list, because I figured if we could start where there's major community gardens, we can learn what they do. And I just would urge everybody, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out and I'm going to participate in these community gardens. Jim said he would do it with me. And I said I think that would be a simple way to start what we're doing, instead of trying to buy land and trying to do this. Because if we go and we join a community garden, we start asking questions and start saying, hey, how did you get your property? Then we'll start making connections. And I think it's a simple way to do it. And actually, I remember Demi said, when I said that to him, he said, you know what, that's something that I would do. I would join that, because this is way more simplistic and it gets us involved. This is what we want to do. Then in my opinion, how we should start off is with a group that's already established. So,
Tricia, you are excellent. You are so right. That is what I thought all along. All along. Thank you, honey. Thank you.
Agree.
You're welcome, Sean. So anyway, that was just my thoughts on it. So I just kind of want to get a feel for what everybody else thinks about it.
And let's give a thanks to Phyllis for coming up with the idea before anybody else did. Well, it's a collective here, and we all do care about poor people. I mean, that's why we joined the group, for crying out loud. Phyllis, thank you for bringing up, and we still got to do this, and I don't want us to get too sidetracked into not feeding homeless. Phyllis,
well,
right?
yeah, I don't think that's going to be a problem, because it's just right there in our faces that this is an issue and it's important, and it needs to be taken care of, and it should be right there at the top of the list of things to do, and plan to use resources for that. Whatever resources there may come that comes our way, whatever we get, whether they're funds or donations, or we chip in our time, or whatever it happens to be, there's just got to be a way to make it happen.
Well, and I think that starting off on a community garden is an easy way to get started, and make connections, figure out how we can get land. It's not that hard. They're doing it. We can do it. And then that way we can start concentrating on another project. Because we're doing this one, right? And we're going to our community gardens, and all of a sudden somebody's been like, hey, I figured out how to get some land. And that's all it takes. All we need is one anchor community garden, and then we'll start spreading. Because that's how the energy works. If we start doing something energetically and we put our energy towards it, it'll make it easier for the next person. It starts a path. So I think that if we did that and made it more simplistic and started out that way, then, like I said, we can concentrate on another project like the homeless, and how are we going to help them with shelter. So that's just, I don't know. That's just.
It's a nice.
I'm hearing some background noise. Do you hear it?
Hello.
Yes, I hear it.
Okay.
Hi, me.
Hi, Demi.
Hi.
Did you want to input something there?
I think that's a great idea. I think this is, we have a lot of things to learn here. I mean, so it seems that it's easiest to go where it's already being done, and then when you kind of get your feet on the ground, so to speak, then you can think of other things you can do and how you can expand out from that. But I think this is a great idea Tricia has, and I really support it. I'm not crazy about the whole idea, but if someone were close nearby me, I'd kind of like to, do something just to see how I feel about it, because there's some really exciting things down the road here, hydroponics and all kinds of things. So I think it's a great idea, and we don't have to invest in any big learning curve. And so it's already there. We just step in and we just keep going. Yep.
All right. I don't see anybody. Any comments? I don't see any hands raised. Everybody's so quiet tonight.
Oh, well, I'm on my computer, but I'll raise my hand or with my phone. I'm in complete agreement with not stepping into the system. I've always been on that side of things, because you step in, all they do is close the door behind you. I don't think we got to get involved in any of that crap. And thanks for pointing that out. And the other thing, the big with me, is security, computer security, and you're tossing your cell phones and Faraday cages, and depending upon where you live. So I'm not a good gardener, but, I'm good at that other stuff. So going back to mute.
Hey, Ken, you may not, anybody can harvest. All you have to do is pick a few things off a plant or put it in a basket. All hands are needed.
Yep.
Okay, so we left off last week with Sean was going to investigate the 501c3 situation. So from what I'm hearing tonight, that's going to be off the table, and maybe we should it sounded like Sean agreed with Tricia. So what do you have to say about that, Sean?
Okay, unmuted. Great. Okay. Well, I always had, I mean, for the last 25 years, having reservations about doing anything through the Shapiros. The Shapiros own their cabal, I mean, they own LegalZoom, so it's got to be incomplete in a setup. And I went through a lot of that stuff. I did not get a chance to read their legalese, and it's the same opinion I had a long time ago. I read the reviews, and people have gotten very massively screwed over by them. And it does take proper advice, but it's hard to get that. So I've tried my best to find a common law lawyer that I might be able to communicate with. And it keeps bringing me back over to, because of Google and their restrictions, they won't let me have a common law lawyer that I can talk to. Just not available. But however, there is statutory law, and that's an oxymoron in itself, because statutory is not a law. It's not, but the courts enforce it. So what we have to do is be really careful about that crap. And I so totally agree with you, Tricia. And I think that everybody else feels cautionary about that whole thing too, about incorporating. I never did incorporate. In 25 years, it was just, oh man, I'm just not going to do it, because it's too much of their control over you. They have so many restrictions. Sure, you can have tax advantages and so on and so forth. And I hope you guys can hear me and understand me enough. I mean, my neck's a mess right now.
You're good.
I'm having a hard
I
time.
can hear you. I can hear you.
Thanks. But starting out much smaller than this, and I do appreciate and understand, and this is where we started out with, folks, didn't it? Let's instead of paying attention to the class in school, we're daydreaming a bit, but we're visualizing what we're going to do, and it is happening, and we are the best. You guys read my comments about what THI California is, because we are great. Look at all of us, man. All of us just get along so great. There isn't any ego thing. There's no problem with that. We are getting it together. And the pressure that we've had, okay, well, I'm thinking that it's for a reason, because I'm thinking that the funding is going to come in pretty soon, and the fiat system is going to change. And I don't know how it's going to morph into anything, but I'll give you my honest opinion on that. I still do not think there's going to be all this major chaos here in America that is going to be a civil war, this or that. I still don't feel it, and I feel that with the situation with legalese and LegalZoom, What's the difference? Con is a con, and we need to just start out slow and stay under the radar and just have the funding slowly. If we can get it leaked to us somehow to start that's how we should handle it, because there are so many things that we can do without all that crap. That's just all this legal crap is just a complete waste of energy and time. It makes things negative when we could be building a future for everybody, and that's our goal. So that's my 25 cents.
Okay, thank you, Sean. I see Pamela has her hand raised.
Thank you, Phyllis. Thank you, Tricia, for all your comments and knowledge and ideas. And I am in full support of your proposal to make a simplistic start with what is already established. Like you said, it's easier to make connections from there. And I just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now I see Eric has his hand up.
Hey, I would say that I am in agreement with what you just laid out, Tricia. I would say, though, if I did have a vote about going 501c3 or not, I would choose to go for it, but I wouldn't object if that's the direction we decided not to go. You know, I don't feel strongly enough about doing it that, you know, I would dig in my heels on it. You know, it's really about us working together and things like that. But, and I hear what everyone says about, you know, the legal system and everything like that, and not wanting to participate in, you know, that aspect of it. But I also know that the wheels of bureaucracy take a long time to turn, and to sit on the sidelines in that aspect of, because we don't want to participate until those kind of things change. There's not really a specified time in the future of when that is. You know, even if, you know, we shelve that idea, let's say for 2 years, I honestly don't even see within that amount of time that those things change within the system, just from what I've observed in how things change in a government or overview kind of way. And, you know, what I would say in it is that, you know, the People's Club is a 501c3, and, you know, Thomas does know, you know, all of the things that we know and feels the same way. And this is something that, you know, I've mentioned to Jim, is that, you know, I know the system and I know what it's all about and stuff like that, but it also, with everything being laid out about what you can and can't do, being creative enough to figure out how to utilize what's there for your benefit is always a possibility. But as far as, you know, everything else that you've mentioned about, you know, starting small and getting involved with other people already, you know, doing that, I would agree 100%. And if, you know, we choose to not go the route of the 501c3, I'll support that as well. But I just, you know, wanted to lay out where my point of view on it is.
Well, that's understandable, and I don't disagree with you either. And I know that the People's Club is a 501c3 from what I understand as well. I think that, and I don't want anybody to think that I want to stall the process, because that's not what I want to do. What I want to do is move forward, and I want to move forward, and I think that if you think that if there's a scheduling issue or it's going to keep us from moving forward, then I don't want to do that either. I think establishing it as a foundation is a good thing. We can apply for funds at one point in time, but we aren't going to be able to do it right away. From what I've seen as far as getting grants for things, I don't know that Thomas is getting grants. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, but what I would say on that aspect is that if, without having it apply, at least when you have it established and going, there's a time frame in which you can do that after you get things going and things are on paper and stuff like that. Without having it, then that's not even an option. So what I kind of look at is, is it an ideal thing? Definitely not. But what doors does it open if it is there? Versus, I'm not, speaking about getting started or anything like that. That's the first thing that needs to get done, whether the 501c3 is established or not. Doing something is first, priority on there. I just kind of look at it in a sense of, what things would you be able to do with that? And it's not even just about, applying for grants and things like that. As a charity, there's fundraising and things you could do. You can do it without it, but is there, what does that involve if you're, taking funds from people to do something? If we decide to, put on a meal like a Thanksgiving or something like that for like needy people, and, people want to give money towards that, whether or not they participate within, PHI or anything like that. I just look at I look at people's perception, because I've had to deal with that, throughout my life. Oftentimes, a disadvantage of myself, because I was always trying to do things from a young age. So I had to present myself in a way that I could talk to somebody double my age and, present things professionally in a sense. So I know, like, the perception of how people look at things, even though the intention might be the same, whether it's official or unofficial. There's a certain way something looks as in an official capacity, quote unquote. But I do agree that, that is not, stopping the process or holding anything up. It's, getting started and getting involved is the first thing that needs to be done. And whether or not we have a 501c3, that doesn't matter.
Okay, Kenny's got his hand up. He doesn't have a computer. When you're ready.
Oh, okay. Well, I've got Bill hand up next, then Kenny, and then Demi. Thank you.
I was just going to really quick. I'm sorry. I was just going to say that I don't completely disagree with you at all. And I think that we need to be able to take donations. So that's correct. You're correct.
Thanks, Trish. Okay, yeah. Bill?
Hi. Sorry, my daughter has basketball tryouts. I was up checking them out. Anyways, on the 501c3, that can it's going to take a little while to get it. So that should be something that's happening in the background, and how it will help especially in California, is you don't have to pay payroll taxes. So let's say you're like my payroll was $7,500 for 2 weeks. So for every 2 weeks, I have to pay an additional like $1,800 on top of that. That's just taxes I have to pay that's separate. That comes out of my pocket. So the government takes, let's say you make $500, they take $300 out of your 500, or I don't know how much they take out of people's checks. Let's say they take $50 out of somebody's check. Well, I still have to pay on top of that. So a 501c3 for, let's say, my business would save me $2,400 a month. And the employee doesn't have any money taken out of his account. It also, let's say we get a bunch of property. We don't have to pay property tax on that. So it's kind of getting the government back in a way. And I missed the argument against it. I'm sure there's a good one. But I think that should be something that we should be working on in the background. Because if we get employees, that's a big incentive to hire people. Just go, hey, look, you don't have to pay any taxes. So, we'll pay you $20 an hour and you get to take home $20 an hour. So it's like they're getting $25 an hour. That's my 2 cents. And okay. Especially, let's say they give us, we get 40 acres, property tax on 40 acres is a lot that we just got to come up with and just give to Nancy Pelosi or Gavin Newsom here.
That's true.
Please.
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, like 10 years ago when I had my last business, or my last restaurant, if my payroll was $7,500, I'd give them like $800. Now I'm giving them $1,800. And Newsom just threw this other tax on there. He's going to raise everyone's tax for something on the fires. Well, he said he's going to put it on everyone's payroll tax. So I don't know if that's going to be me. I don't know if that's going to be me and the employees. I don't know if that's just going to be the employees, but we're getting hit again. So, and who knows what he's going to hit us with. He could hit us with something else. Next thing yeah, I mean, it's brutal. So that's just all I had to say on that. That's the first thing that jumped out of my mind when Thomas was saying, and you don't have to pay property tax and you don't have to pay payroll tax. My eyes just lit up. And I'm sure there's other taxes you don't have to pay with the 501c3. And I think there's donations that they can tax you on that you don't have to pay taxes. Because they'll tax you on everything. So if we can just not pay taxes, that would be awesome. All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry I'm late.
That's all right. Thank you, Bill. All right, Kenny, you want to jump in there?
Yeah. I just want to let everybody know, and some of you already know, in March of 2017, the deputy sheriffs broke through my door with no warrant, no criminal warrant. I mean, taxes paid. It was a tenants in common issue, but it was fraud, mail fraud, mortgage fraud. It was admiralty law. I knew it. Not one lawyer in Mendocino County would represent me except for one crooked one who said, oops, I used the wrong adjective and I fired his butt. But with the courts and the system and the way they are, I studied common law and also natural law. If you remember a while back, Thomas talked about common law as somewhat of a fake deal. You have to go with natural law. but I can tell you that there's some things I learned along the way in 2.5 years of battling the sheriff knocking on my door with fake seals, random variables, changing case numbers, psychological warfare, being shot at. I mean, it was crazy. And one thing is called a land patent with the Bureau of Land Management. It has certain advantages with property tax. We might want to look into that. It's called a land patent. Not too many people know about it. I have a case already. It's been going on, criminal case against Mendocino County, against Sheriff Deputy Lieutenant Greg Stefani here in Mendocino County, against Deputy Riston, against the court clerk Dorothy Jess, against the court itself. Is not even marked outside as a California court, and it didn't even have a sign on it. There is no jury room. And the basic issue is, in 48 out of 57 counties, everybody keep this in mind, please, the sheriff is also the coroner. And it's happened here. This is not just my opinion. I've seen it with my own eyes. People have been run off their land seized, and people even disappearing because the sheriff, under either vice of office or blackmail, hit somebody, and then they do the autopsy. It's an inconclusive, and it's done deal. It's a violation of the federal act. It's called the Separation of Powers Act. So that case number is in with the post office cops right now. It's case number 1826214. I would love to know this gal who's got the Supreme Court thing going and get some information on that. You can send it to me through MeWe and on chat, or to my, send it to me through a private chat. But, I'm actively working that issue, because if the sheriff's a coroner in your county, you can just forget about it. You can just forget about it. You do your 501c or whatever you want to do. We've got to change, put some energy there. So I want to let everybody know that I stood in the middle of my living room, and the law says, this is what the law says, by the way, somebody throws rocks at you, you can throw rocks back. Well, I'm not a criminal, no record, I was 60 at the time, had all my arms. And know the red flag laws, that's another one. If you guys have arms, some sheriff comes to your door and asks you if you got any guns, do not tell them if you have. They are called arms. Don't forget that, because if you say anything else, they will come inside and seize your protective arms. Okay? That's called the red flag law here in California. If they ask you, you say, I have arms, and then you're protected. They can't mess with you, because arms means they're purely for defensive purposes only. So when they busted through my door, I had all my stuff upstairs locked and loaded and ready to go. And I had a bunch of arms up there, but they didn't shoot at me, so I couldn't shoot back. But I did stand in the middle of my living room with my sword, my family sword of 200 years, and I stood there with a deed in one hand. And I have a witness for this. My gal Wendy, she was there. She was blocked the doors as the sheriffs were trying to bust in with no warrant and no criminal activity. I stood in the middle of my living room with my family sword and my deed in the other hand. And then they got the door 8 inches open and tased me from outside, which I stood up. And it's another story about that. I was able to shut the gun down, because they don't know who I was. I am who I am. But then they broke through the glass, and we're still battling it. I mean, it's actually a case number, so I'd love to know about that. But to get back to the land, there is some issues, and also property tax. Also, there's different levels. There's agriculture, and if you provide food on a pro bono basis, sometimes there's people here who own large areas of land in Mendocino County and pay no property tax whatsoever. And they don't have a 501c, because they have a volunteer fire department on board, or they have a volunteer something for the community on the land. So that's a big subject. So just remember that about your county. There's a lot of good deputy sheriffs here in Mendocino County, thank goodness, that saw my standing in the living room with a sword, still ready, defending my home. they let me loose. They cut me off out of jail and helped me out. You know, they know who I am here, and they respect me a lot. But that's beyond the point of knowing the fact that they can do whatever you want to. You don't own any land in California, whether you got a mortgage or not. I'm telling you, common law, I studied it for 2.5 years the best I could and battled it. Nobody owns any land. They just bust right through your door. But if you get a land patent with the Bureau of Land Management, that's one way we might get around it. And the 501c, man, I don't know. I just got a bad feeling about that because once you get into the system, you're in the system, like it was mentioned. And I think I've been passionate enough about that with my battle there with Mendocino County and the the Office of Sheriff Coroner, who do wild and crazy things, and Bohemian Grove. I mean, it's right down the road from where I live. It's crazy. It's just plain out crazy. But anyways, just know that that's an issue. And please remember what I told you. If it gets down, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but let's say your neighbor is someone who doesn't like you, or he gets coerced by someone, and he calls the police and he says, hey, this guy next door to me has got some guns and he's crazy and I'm worried about it, a red flag law, and the next thing you know, you have a deputy sheriff or a cop knocking on your door asking you if you got any guns. People, remember this. If you do for self-defense, and that's what they're for defense, they are arms. Okay, and I'm about done. I've been passionate enough, but you ought to look into the land patent and the other stuff. And if anybody needs any help with common law about what I ran into in my 2.5 years of psychological warfare and all that other stuff I went through in the courts and the blockages that are there and what you can do and what you can't do in my case with the Postal Service, let me know. I'm going back to mute. Thank you very much. Love you all.
Okay, Ken. All right, Demi, your hand's up.
Yeah. Kenny, I just wanted to ask you, I'd like to contact you in some way, and I have several questions I'd like to ask you, and I'm wondering if can I just give you a call at this number that you're showing on the screen, or is there another way to contact you?
No, you can call me. It's a landline. It's secure.
Okay.
No problem. You got it?
Yeah, I just copied it down. So I'd love to talk to you about security and some other things too that come up. So that'd be really nice. Thank you so much.
No problem. Going back to mute.
Okay. Well, actually, we've been hearing a lot of pros and cons, and they're all very interesting. Maybe we could compile. Everybody could just kind of write a blurb and send them into, I don't know, Bill or Phyllis or whatever, and, whether it's a 501c3 or whether what Kenny's talking about or some of the other options, so that we kind of have an idea of what all these options look like at this point. And then also, what exactly is it we are going to do? Do we want to go in, as Tricia suggested, and just get going in our local community gardens and do that for a while before we make any decisions on land or how we're going to use it? And that would then we'll see if we can find a fit our projected need or want. That seems like a necessary thing at this point. What exactly are we going to do? Grow food, but that's kind of a big issue. So maybe we could start thinking about getting a list of things different, because this is all foreign to me. 501c3, I don't know. So, and what Kenny's talking about and others have talked as well, that'd be kind of good to get all that together and just have it in a list where we could look at it, and then just to kind of decide what are we going to do. Are we going to go for the community gardens for a while and join that, as Tricia was suggesting, or are we going to find a little plot somewhere? I'm for Tricia's idea, actually, because it's the easiest entrance, but I just kind of organize things because we need to know, I think, what we're going to require. What sort of operation do we want to start? Do we want a lot of little ones? Do we want a big one? That kind of thing. So maybe it's the time to start thinking about pulling all these pieces together, put them out on the table, and see what we have. No, that's it.
Sounds completely reasonable to me.
Okay. So
Thank
would
you.
everybody who has got these great ideas for 501c3 and Kenny too with your other issues as you're describing for land usage and, you know, pros and cons of this and the next thing, maybe send those to somebody. Jim, would you be the one to accept that and just put those up on the site and we could just kind of mull them over in the next week?
Well, it'd be probably better to send them to Phyllis since she has all the information. Unless you just want to post them on the pages. I don't know. What do you think?
I think they could go ahead and post whatever they want on the pages. Their ideas, put it at THI California, Facebook, or MeWe, or both. Whatever. That's fine.
Maybe THI California, and then kind of put it all in the same spot. And so find that spot, maybe, or create a spot and saying, here's our suggestions for how we acquire land as 501c3, you know, other land use, land acquisition, land rights. And so that we can get all that kind of straight and then start thinking about also what exactly we want to do, you know, now how we're going to do it.
Okay.
So that, good.
All right, then.
I'll talk to Phyllis about that. And what's going through my head right now is maybe sending them to Phyllis and then transferring them over to Miriam's spreadsheet. I believe she had a space for doing just that.
Sounds great. Whatever works.
Go ahead, Sean. You got something you want to say?
I sure do. Okay. I really, really do. We're predicating everything on not having the funding. We are creators. We are going to have the funding. It's going to work out that way. Look at what's going on. The banks are broke. The trust is going to eventually take over. I don't think it's going to take all that much longer. And we're creating all of these difficulties instead of being who we are, which is creators. And we're going to get this done. Anybody got anything to say about it? I'm frustrated. I apologize. I'm a gentleman. I'm frustrated at hearing this, you know. I mean, that's what I got right off the bat with Real Care. You know, give people real care, as in real health insurance, not insurance. We'll have to change that name because, well, I've studied a lot about entomology lately, and I don't really know what to say anymore because of the dual meanings behind it. But here we are in this energy vibe. But we have to think positive. I don't think that we should be going through all of this. My God, it's not going to work out. It's not going to work out. It's not going to work out. We got to do this. We got to do that. I don't think that's right, folks. I mean, I don't think that's our message. I don't think that's what we need to be doing now. I think what we need to be doing now is assuming, because it's creative, that the bad guys are going to get destroyed and we win. Okay, and let me put it that way, simply. Okay, I'm done for a while. Please let me know what you folks think, because I love every one of you.
Okay, thank you, Sean. Yeah, we do need to keep as much positive flow going here as much as possible, but we still have to talk through some nuts and bolts. But yeah, we want to keep it in the mindset of, yes, we're going to make this happen. It's going to flow, but we have to show we're ready to receive the funds to make things happen. We have to get organized. We have to put it down. And I like what Demi said about let's get some concrete stuff down and get it onto the spreadsheets, show what we're doing, show what progress we're making, because otherwise we just couldn't just have random discussions and we're not really showing progress. So, but Kimberly has had her hand up, so let's get her up there.
Hey, everybody. I have something concrete, actually. I have a friend who wants to donate 1 acre to us with a creek running through it. It's in Paradise. So what we're doing is trying to cut through the red tape right now. We have remediation to go through. We already have set up for wood chips to be dropped to start the soil remediation. The unfortunate part is when FEMA came through, they did a scrape across the soil and they took down 3 feet of the topsoil. That's really bad. That's not good. But when there's ways that we can work around that, and there might be areas on this that we could probably just start planting something in. Something. But the great part is it's free. It's free to us. What we're doing.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're going through right now and we're trying to get the soil testing to find out if there's anything we need to do with that. And I'll handle all that. I'm handling that right now. So that's good. And like I said, we have the chips ready to get dropped as soon as we can get the stuff with the soil done. And then in the meantime, well, up where I'm at, we can start a 1/4 acre vertical. And I'm looking to get a greenhouse going because not even a week ago, we had an unexpected freeze and we lost a lot of stuff.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So that's very unfortunate. And I watched the orchard around me. They got 1 knock and 1 sweep, and all the walnuts were gone. So everything got left on the ground. So a lot of stuff got hit hard here in this area. And this is a huge area. Where I am, we have a lot of stuff coming out of here. So we've just been kind of quietly all sitting here going, oh, this wasn't good. This wasn't good, but doesn't mean we can't create new things, which we're trying to do now. So, yeah, we do have good things going. That if we could get that 1 acre, no, not if, we have it. She said we can have it. I just have to get the soil stuff taken care of. And I have to make sure the water's not contaminated because it's a free-flowing creek and it's always run through there, which is amazing for us. Amazing. Because that's free water.
That is awesome, Kimberly. See, that just gives me motivation to go out.
Right.
So that's awesome. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, like right now, because we're heading into winter, we're not going to have much growing anyway. So keep hope, everybody. We don't need to be worrying too much about the planting and stuff because this is winter. Well, this is going to give us plenty of time to get all of our other ducks in a row.
That's
and
true.
Remember, if we don't want to go 501(c)(3), we can still do what Tank's doing. Tank is doing an unacknowledged nonprofit. And all you do is you register your business because we can all go out and separately get plots of land donated to us, but then we're not a group. So we have to be a group. So we have to do something that's going to allow us to be an actual group. That's why I kind of liked in the beginning. Remember I said an unacknowledged nonprofit. That's what Tank. Guardians of Camelot is an unacknowledged nonprofit. Because he's not getting money right now. There's no funding. He's not receiving donations. But it allows him to do things, right? There's certain things he can do. I believe you can get up to $5,000 a year without having to do taxes or anything. That would allow us to get land donations, to get supplies, to do other things. And all we have to do is take the name and we have to register the name with the state of California. That's it. And there was a bunch of articles that went along with that, but I glanced at them and they weren't that big of a deal. So it's a nonprofit, but you're not in the system. You know, you're in, but you're not. And I heard what Eric said and I liked it. And I heard what Tricia said and I liked it. I'm not invested in it either way. I'm invested in getting something going, just something, right? So I could even use part of my property on the 1/4 vertical is what I was thinking. If we can't get anything else going, we can at least get a 1/4 vertical. We could get that energetic situation going because I'm getting ready to get a greenhouse anyway. So, because I thought half of my elderberries. I just went and got a bunch of elderberries and currants, and now I can't plant them. They can't go in the ground, period. So they have to be overwintered somewhere. And right now they're just sitting in my pump house. I'm trying to keep it as warm as I can because it goes from 90 to 89 here down to like 41 degrees.
Yeah.
That's quite the drop. The plants don't tolerate that well.
Oh, Lord.
So, and if there's one more thing, if you guys don't mind me saying one more thing.
Sure, go ahead.
Go for it.
Okay. This is going to be great. This is the special little jewel. So last week, someone came across and I met this person. I'm not allowed to give out their name yet, but this group of people, and I told him I'm part of a group and we're trying to get New Way going. And he's working with the group, and they're down in Sacramento and SoCal, and they're kind of under the radar, and they're scientists and they're doctors, and they're working on free energy, and they're in a prototype phase of a thing that they're using. And he explained it. We had about a 5-hour conversation on magnetism and exactly how this is going to work, space and counter space. He and I, we knew exactly what this is going to be. It's going to be something that you can, it's small enough that you're going to be able to put it on a necklace, and most people are going to think it's a toy. So it can be given out. And so basically, I asked him for a prototype for the basic members in this group who I know are interested in that. And when that comes out, he's not giving me a set date, but it's already in prototype phase right now. So I would like to bring that either on board here. If you guys aren't comfortable with that, then I can offer it in the People's Club on a separate project. It doesn't matter to me. I'm just excited that there's literally something at our fingertips.
Kimberly, thank you so much. You are so great. You always add so much to the conversation.
Well, this guy's amazing.
Stuff. I know. I can tell.
This guy's amazing. He was a physician, and he just it wasn't working for him, and so he met other people that are like him, and they went. It's past Tesla. It's using a coil and magnetics and things like that, but it's a little bit more because it's using space and counter space. So, which when you go and you take a look, and I can actually get some stuff and post them to you guys in MeWe and Facebook so you can look at it. So, and when he explains it, it's so simple. I'm like, why are we not learning that? And he says, because of the obvious. Because of the obvious. If everybody knew this, then everybody would have their own device, and you wouldn't need the meters, and you wouldn't need the PG&E, right? And so I said, basically, is this the mission you guys are on? He's like, the mission that we're on right now is to get free energy to everybody because it's a game changer. It's literally a game changer.
That's
awesome. I was like, especially in California. And he's like, yeah, because the way they're looking, he's like, they're going to try cutting everyone off the grid and getting you used to not having power, and then shoving you into renewable energy, which isn't that great anyway, right? It's not something that you can count on. This,
wow.
I can only say so much because I'm not allowed to say very much, but this is literally going to be the size of a necklace, and it's 2 pieces. So you'll take it, and one piece will fit into the other piece, and you'll wear it around your neck. Or wherever you want it to be. It doesn't even have to wear it. It's just going to be really cool. I'm super excited. I've had a hard time not talking about it, and he's coming back, and we're having another conversation towards the end of November. And then at that conversation, we're going to see how far they're gone and what more I'm going to be allowed to say. I'm just very excited by it. So it's going to be a big deal. It's going to be a huge deal because lots of people have free energy, right? It's just a lot of people aren't going to step out. And I asked him, I was like, are you guys afraid? And he said, yeah, we're afraid. We are afraid. He said, but you know what? Sometimes you just have to step up. And I was like, okay. Because I know the group. I have a group for this.
Wow.
I have a group for this. This was worked out beautifully. So
super exciting.
Well, yeah, it's probably one of the more exciting things I've heard in a long time. So, but I still want to be very focused on the property because that just came to us. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's just a perfect setup. The only thing, like I said, was I'm concerned about FEMA taking so much topsoil.
Yeah.
I just don't know how I'm gonna build up 3 feet unless I get someone to truck in
Some soil.
Which you can do that. It's just super expensive. So
Yeah,
unless I
right.
can, but you know what? I'll do my intention. We'll see. Because I already got the chip people coming in. They're gonna start dropping wood chips down on the lot, and that will help bring in a microsystem for all the bugs and all the stuff that we need in the soil. So we'll see. I'll keep you guys abreast of it. But
Thanks,
there's hope.
Kimberly.
There's hope, everyone.
Yeah.
Yes,
Thanks,
that's
Kimberly.
awesome, Kimberly.
Yeah.
All right. Tricia, you have your hand up too, okay?
Yeah,
That's
I was
amazing.
just gonna-
Wow.
Sorry. Eric, did you want to say something? Was that you?
No,
No,
I'm
that was
listening.
Bill.
I gotta mute.
Okay.
Go ahead,
Um,
Tricia.
I was just going to say, I mean, I know that what I said tonight about maybe not doing the 501c3 being in the, I know I agree with everybody. And I mean, you guys know that I've been saying from the beginning, we just need to do something. Those were just my thoughts about being in that whole system and everything. And I listen to you, Bill, and I listen to you, Eric, and I listen to you, Kimberly. I think, for one, I think that Demi had a good idea. Let's get all the ideas out there. And then we already came up with a name. I think that's the next step, is decide how we want to do this. I don't disagree. I'm not, like I said, I'm not completely against it. Those are just my thoughts. I understand why people don't want to be in the system. I don't also, I mean, I've been working in the system all my life in the same way. It's like, utilize it to my advantage. I don't like shopping at Walmart, but if Walmart has a product that's the only place I can get it, I'm going to go there and I'm going to get it. I'm not going to deprive anybody of anything or myself. So, I mean, I listen to what you guys have to say. You have some very valid points. It'd be a good tax write-off. And if we want to accept donations, which we do, might be a good idea. I'm not against it. Those were just my thoughts. And the other thing that my whole thing too, though, is just start simplistically. And I'm going to go now. My goal is to go do what Kimberly did and go meet somebody that's going to give us some property. So that's my intention, and I'm going to set that. I do want to point out, I know what Sean said about, the funds are coming out. I heard Thomas last night talking, well, because I didn't get to hear the show until late, but he was talking about if the funds come out the way we want them to. And so my thought, as I always say, is I don't want to depend on the funds getting out, because they might not come out for a while, and I don't think we're ready. That's my personal opinion, because we don't have it together right now. But I think that the least that we can do for them, they put their lives on the line, is go out and go to a community garden. I mean, and just figure out how to grow some food. This is like not complex compared to what they're doing for us. So I don't know. That's all I want to say. I'm open to doing whatever, but I agree with everybody, Eric and Kimberly. We just need to get something going. I do agree with that, for sure.
I have a question, everybody. Tricia, if we need to get this started, what if I go get the land, because legally she won't want to hold it. Do you see? Because she'll have to claim capital gains because of the fire. They are ripping people off badly up there. She already got dinged by the IRS. She could give it to me, and I could pull a business license, because I think Paradise is a township. And what I could do at that point is turn around and donate that property back to you guys. I might claim it and then give it to New Earth, California. I just don't know what else to do at this point. I know we have free land sitting there, but she isn't going to want to hold on to it forever, because then
So we need to get this done now.
We need to do something, because either I have to claim it and take it and then donate it, or we have to have a group. Like I said, if anyone wants to go to the state of California and check out an unacknowledged nonprofit, that means you're registered as a group, and we could legally start taking donations, because we're an unregistered nonprofit.
Can we change it later to a 501c3 if that's
Yes.
what everybody wants to do?
You can. That's the thing I always liked about it, is because you're not limited. And,
So-
and most people just do that. Tank's doing it, and I know why he's doing it, but most people just do it because there's, like, say, a hurricane, and they all get together, and they want to come together for an event and get a lot of food and a lot of donations to give to somebody. And that's why most people do that. Some people do it because they're trying to decide whether they want the 501 or not. And that's kind of
Okay.
where we're at. We're kind of sitting in that position. But if we don't have something, we can't start taking donations. You see, it's not going to work.
That's true.
Because people
right.
won't do it. I already know she is going to say, well, who am I giving it to?
Exactly.
Who gets
You're
it?
right.
She's willing. Yeah, she's willing to give it, but she's got to have someone to give it to.
Okay, so then I guess if we're all in agreement, we need to start the foundation now. We just do. And I mean, who wants to do that? I know I did. Well, I had my attorney do my LLC, but I know it took about 30 days.
Yeah. What about COSIN? What does she have to say? Because she
I
knows
was just
some
going to
finance.
ask that. Just going to ask if COSIN had some.
I can, yes, I certainly can research a little bit. I think, Kim, you were talking about unincorporated nonprofit association, right? That's what Tank has.
Yeah, that's it. Yep, that's the one.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I'll do a little research, and I'm gonna see how soon we can get it filed. And yes, later on we can convert that to 501c. I just post a little link for everybody. That's just, while you guys were talking, I just did a little research. Just a little, I guess, short definition of what it is and usually why people use it. So it looks like that can be a good starting point. So I'm going to do a little research this week, and I can send the result to Phyllis, and Phyllis can share with everybody. And let's try to get it going. After this week of research, maybe we'll start the process next week.
Okay, and it's going to be under the name New Earth California. Say, Michael J., you got that name set up on the website, and I take it that we've got that domain name. Can you confirm that?
Oh, yeah, that was just
What was that?
It was just one more account. It's still a subdomain under the webhost.com. That's still under that free platform, at least for the time being. So I took everything that was in THI California, and then just did we'll call it WordPress has a thing that's like a pack and go. You take the whole website, you migrate it over to another subdomain, as it were. So
Right.
Yeah.
Right, but I'm asking if you claimed that domain name on the system. New Earth California.
No, not if no, it's not a standalone. I guess we'll call it. It's not a standalone domain as such, like a new.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So you say subdomain. That's different. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
you. It is unique to the 000webhost.com. It is unique to that as a subdomain, but standing on its own, it does not right now. So there is
Jim, do you think we should make it its own domain, or what do you think about that?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, Jim, what do you think?
Yeah.
Well, it's up to everyone. If that's the name we chose, yes. I believe you just have to go to where do you set? You have to purchase the domain, correct, Michael?
Yeah, there's so many companies to do that, and then a domain with hosting service. Those usually come hand in hand. You usually want to keep it with the same company, I suppose. Yeah, and it would just have to be a search to see if it's available, and then there's different pricing according to if it's a .org, which I'm hearing that's probably going to be. And if I guess
I
it'll
can
work.
look into that this week.
Okay.
I did it a long time ago. I purchased a couple of domains, but I forget who I use. It's not LegalZoom, is it? Or is it
No.
DuckDuckGo?
DuckDuckGo. Huh? Oh, sorry, I didn't get that. Last thing.
Is it GoDaddy? GoDaddy.
GoDaddy, that's it.
GoDaddy.
Right. Okay, I'll check that out this week. And if I can purchase it right away, I will.
Mm.
If everybody's set on that name, that's the one we chose, correct?
Yes,
Yes.
definitely.
Jim,
So,
do you want us to pitch in to help cover for that? Shouldn't we do that, you guys?
yeah.
I don't even know what it was. Last time I did it, I don't remember it being that expensive. So let me look into it first,
Okay.
and then
Let us know.
yeah,
Well,
okay,
just
no
track.
problem.
We just track expenses, and when we've got funding from whatever source, we just go to the petty cash.
Yeah, by next week I'll know.
Okay. So, anybody else who hasn't had something to say here? Anything else you want to bring up? Oh, Tricia, you know, there is one thing I'd like you to bring up. You said something yesterday about you met somebody, or you heard about this group that want to do the same kinds of things we are, things that'll help people, and they're not part of THI, but they're the kind of group that would definitely take advantage or would be somebody you could consider using the funds for, because they're a good group. Doesn't just have to be us.
What I was saying is, I went to the University of Santa Monica School of Spiritual Psychology for a year, and it was probably the most loving place I've ever been in my entire existence on this planet. But what we did there is we learned to do our shadow and inner work, basically. I mean, we learned about, you know, what a trigger is, when you're triggered, that's about you. We sat in client counselor, neutral observer circles, and we would talk, and we would, you know, if I started off as the counselor, I would end up as the neutral observer. In the end, we would do 3 different sessions, and we'd all trade chairs. And we learned to do our shadow and inner work that way. And mid-year, we all had to have a project. And we were taught how to do, well, what it was called an ideal scene. So you would write your ideal scene. It always had to do with whatever, you know, to help humanity. And what you wanted, you know, what an ideal scene was for you. And then you would have to turn it into a project. And we all did that, which is kind of what we're, you know, doing right now. And everything was always had to be for the highest good of all concerned. And so we were all equipped with how to do what we're doing right now. Basically, so when I, you know, heard about Thomas and started listening to how he was talking about doing his shadow and inner work, it connected with me beautifully. So, I mean, and in such an intense way, but I know that they have a business center set up that's heart-centered business. It's all on the, they all have a website for it, for USM Heart-Centered Business, and they also have like just a USM website. And so what I wanted to do is put up there that we need people with projects, because we do. I don't think there's enough people that have submitted projects. And I don't have to tell these people that it's to benefit, mankind, because those are the types of projects we all came up with. And that's what, you know, we were taught. And that's what we resonated with. So I'm going to put it forward to that heart-centered business group that, you know, what THI is all about, that I'm part of the group, and that there's, you know, they can submit a project to the People's Club. And if they want to join THI, they can. If they don't, that's okay. But at least the projects that they will put forward will be for the betterment of mankind, and they will be heart-centered, and they will be for the highest good of all concerned. So that was what I was going to do. And that is what I'm planning on doing that this week.
That sounds great. That sounds great.
And then
We need
the
a lot of heart-centered people.
yes, we do. And so, I don't know. I just realized tonight. I mean, I think it's intense what happened with Kimberly. I'm so grateful that happened. And it's like, I mean, I have my reservations about certain things, and I brought them up, and I appreciate everybody talking to me about it. But this has taken on a life of its own now, and I'm really happy to see that. And I think that we need to move forward and roll with it and start the foundation, because we have to take this land now. So it's kind of funny how that works. That's interesting.
Yeah. It's like the decision's made for us right there.
Exactly. Well, we've been talking about it, and I think that we all intend to manifest it. But the portion of it that's us talking about it is us setting our intention, and now it's coming to fruition. So here we go.
Okay. Anybody else? No hands raised? Any last thoughts, Eric, about anything else you think we should put in this this update other than what you sent me?
Not really. I mean, I'll see if I could think of anything else, but I think that over time it'll kind of evolve further.
Okay.
But I think where we're at right now with it is a good place to start.
Yeah, I'd like to get this out, if at all possible. I'd kind of like to get this out tomorrow or maybe by Wednesday. I don't want to wait too long to put this out there. So I'm going to send you the completed thing for you to post up on Facebook. The completed update. Okay. Pam J., you're awfully quiet. You got anything to say, my dear? Where are you?
She said she was dealing with the gas leak.
Oh, was that her or was that the other Pamela? I've got two Pamelas here.
I thought that was her. Maybe not.
Everything sounds very interesting. And of course, here we've got an ongoing gas leak, and so our kitchen staff was still in there, and so they called, and so I guess we're going to have the gas company come back in. As for my own little garden, a bird planted a squash plant in one of my flower pots, and so it's got 5 little squashes on there, so hopefully it'll do well.
Very good, very good.
Yeah.
That's a good sign.
Lots you can do with squash.
Yes.
Well, if, say, Eric, Miriam is on Facebook, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I had sent her an email, and I haven't heard back. I imagine she's super busy with the baby and everything. But I'm trying to remember, maybe you could check Facebook, but I thought she had put a link out for the spreadsheet.
She did.
I looked around and I couldn't find it. I couldn't find what I'd done with it. Oh, you have it?
I have it. I'll send it to you in the first thing in the morning.
Okay, super. Okie doke.
And I think Miriam's also on MeWe. She's on both.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah, you're right. I forgot that's right. Okay. All right, I just need the spreadsheet link. I want to take a look at some stuff. Thanks.
Yeah, the 2 links for both those spreadsheets are on both pages.
Okay.
You might have to scroll down a ways, but they're on there.
Okay. All right, I was just trying to figure out how we want to do the update. Again, I still think, if you think it's okay to do emails too, I don't have everybody's email, of course, but maybe we'll catch enough people who aren't looking at the sites, maybe who aren't popping into MeWe, who aren't popping into Facebook. And if I got emails, then...
Oh, is this for, you mean updates for
the update, just the update I want to send out. So
new members or for
any members, any of our THI California.
All members.
Yeah.
I think emails are smart.
I do too, but unfortunately I haven't.
Any emails?
Eric's been trying to get emails from people in the Facebook group, and I've been working on the people in MeWe, but they're just, for all the members, we definitely do not have every email, that's for sure.
Like I was telling Tricia Tuesday, occasionally I go to posts that were put on Facebook for sure. I'm not quite sure how MeWe works, but on the post itself, it says people that have seen this post. If you click on that, and I do, because it says like 23 people have seen this post. So I'll click on it, and it has a lot of names of people I don't even know, I've never heard from before. But they do look at the posts on the page, so maybe that's probably the best place to contact them by way of, since we don't have the emails for a lot of those people. Okay. Either on Facebook, and I'll take a look at MeWe. They might have the same type of situation where you can see who took a look at the post, how many people.
I haven't come across that. It might be there. I just wouldn't know how to. I don't think I've ever seen that in MeWe. You can see who's doing a thumbs up or stuff like that, but other than that, I haven't seen the other. Well, I'm hoping that Michael J., I'm not going to create a lot more work for him to say just scrap THI California website and just have the newearthcalifornia.org, because if he was making it a subdomain, you would just be able to move everything over to the one with the new name. But I'm not sure how that's going to work, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, he posted that. Michael posted the new New Earth California website. I sent it over to Facebook for everyone to take a look at. What he's saying is, in order to use that New Earth California as a domain, have to purchase the domain. And whoever said it, I forgot where I did it, but it's GoDaddy. I have to go to GoDaddy and just it could be a possibility that it's already been used. Someone already purchased it. That's always a possibility with those names, which means we'll probably have to pick another name.
Oh, don't say that. Don't say that.
I'm going to look at it positively and hopefully.
Yes. We've got it. We've got it.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Kenny. I just looked at the dropped websites. There's a New Earth California, but it's only the CA on the end. It doesn't say California. It's newearthca.com. It's wide open. It just got dropped. And I sent my email to Phyllis and Jim.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Ken.
Thanks, Kenny. Okay, so newearthcalifornia.org is okay.
I'll work on that tomorrow.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds very good. No hands up? Everybody's quiet tonight?
Yeah, well, just know that before we go, that New Earth CA is available. That's what I mean by dropped. Somebody dropped it, so if that other one's not there.
Well, we want to go with the full California, I think.
Yeah, I did a search. I did a search on just a regular search, and nothing came up for it. I just did a search on that.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
maybe it's there.
Okay.
Where
Sean,
did you go to?
Oh, I'm
Where
sorry,
did
go
you
ahead.
go to find that, Ken?
On the dropped one, or for
No,
just looking?
What site did you go to for looking at those names?
Oh, I went to justdropped.com,
Okay.
and it's the link is, of course, the https://www.drops/072716com.html. And that'll be on the recording. And I did a safe search on my secure platform for New Earth California, oneword.com, and of course nothing came up. So maybe it's available. I wouldn't wait too long. And the one question I have was that this association THI is that an LLC we're talking about?
No, I think Kimberly talked about something other than the 501c, some kind of nonprofit.
COSIN, what COSIN's going to look at and get back to us next phone call, it's called non-incorporated nonprofit. And what that is it's a group that comes together for a specific reason or purpose. And a lot of times they'll come together because they're not sure if they want a 501 or not. So they do this because it allows them to get a head start. It allows them to start doing stuff, and they're allowed to make, I think it is $5,000 a year before they start getting penalized with anything, which we're in the last couple of months of the year, so I think we should be safe that way. But what it would do is allow our name to get going. We could get registered with the state, and all you do is actually register your name with the state. So, but what you have to do is get a business license, and you have to get your bank account. Basic things you do for a business, publish the name, things like that. And then you can register.
Thanks, Kimberly. Back to Sean.
Yeah, Sean.
We cut you off a couple times.
Oh no, I don't think so. But anyway, yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed all of you intelligent people. What a mind blower. Okay, I want you guys to have my phone number.
Shoot.
And it's I see I'm red row on this thing. I'm using a friend's computer because mine kind of fell apart. And anyway, my area code is 559 448 7441, and I'm going to repeat that, okay? 559 448 7441, and it's going to be about uniting. When you call me, it's going to be about totally uniting this group, okay? But I welcome you to call me. It's uniting this thing through the whole right purpose that we're all here for. Enough said for me.
Okay, thanks, Sean.
Tricia, have something?
Yeah, I was just going to say, thanks, Sean. So, Jim, can we, just when we put out the next Zoom call, just, we're going to be discussing all the information that we found out about starting the foundation, and then get that started and figure out, like, how we're going to pay for that, and I'll chip in whatever.
This is for next Monday, correct?
Yeah. Is that
Okay.
are we all in agreement on that? Can we do that?
Right, and
Yes.
invite people to share some other project ideas. Right, that's what we're going to be doing. Our second Monday
Yes.
of each
So
month.
for the,
So
yeah,
letting people know that's what we're going to be doing.
So for the first hour, we can allow people to come on and, like I said, if that's okay, and talk about other ideas they have. And then for the second hour, we could talk about starting the foundation, what funds we need to gather, what forms we need to do, who's going to do it, and then and if nobody comes on in the first hour but us, then I guess we'll just skip to that. I don't know. That sound right?
Sounds okay. We'll see if we get any results from our little North California update.
Cool.
Are we talking about just a name or starting a 501c3? Because I thought we were going to kind of hold off on that.
Yeah, we are.
We are. We're not starting the 501c3, but we do need to start the foundation because Kimberly just got some property donated to us. And in order for us to be able to take it, we have to have some kind of name. It can't just be floating out there in the air. We have to do something. So, like I said, this has taken a life of its own, which is good. We've manifested that. Thank you very much, Kimberly, for, moving forward with that. That's awesome.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah, but now one thing we have to talk about too is when this lady turns the land over, she's probably doing something, a quit claim, and then we take over the property taxes for that property.
Yeah, but if we're an unincorporated nonprofit, we shouldn't pay any property taxes.
Yeah,
that's why
not
it's
an
important.
issue.
That's why we want to do that.
Okay, unincorporated 501c3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
yeah,
she can donate it just for $1. I mean, there's a quick claim for $1.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody have any ideas concerning replenishing the soil that Kimberly said was removed from that property?
Yeah, I'm going to talk to, I have a lot of people. My husband does construction too. There's a lot of really good soil on the coastline right now. And a lot of that stuff was in landslides, so it's just sitting literally, but Caltrans owns it. And trying to get anything away from them is like a dragon that sits up on his treasure trove. It's really kind of horrific. But what I do is I just open my manifestation. I set my intention out to the universe, literally. And then it's like Thomas said, then the information rolls in, right?
Exactly.
So I'm just going to tell the universe, we need, it's a lot, 3 feet of topsoil. And it'll come. It'll come. So, but I don't know that we'll do the whole acre. You see, it just might be like, I know for a fact you can grow thousands of pounds of food on a vertical acre, a quarter acre. On 1/4 of an acre, you can grow so much food vertically that it's not funny.
Well, we could put a stand up though there. You could put a stand there.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's lots of homeless people in this area and up there that could use that. I mean, those people got burned out.
Aww.
So, yeah, a lot of them are still sitting. We still have people in cars and parking lots right now living here. They're living here in their cars. So they don't have places to go. Chico wasn't really big enough to house 30,000 people. So it's really crazy. The homeless are literally, when you're driving down the street, there's people just sitting on the sidewalks. They don't have anywhere to go.
Yeah, it's wild out there. Hey, I'm going to send you that topsoil. Make it so.
Make it so. Exactly. Right, Ken? That's
right.
Where you're at. So, Ken, you know what I'm talking about Caltrans, right?
Aho.
Well, yes, I was going to say, we have to get through the remediation on the soils testing too. So let's all send out good energy for that, because if it comes back contaminated, we'll have to do something else again. So, and we need the water to be completely clear too. Okay. So, and that's stuff that we're waiting for, those results. Tetra Tech, which is a company that's being paid by the government to do all of that. I know 2 people inside Tetra Tech. So I can get that information without having to pay for the soils testing and stuff. I can just get it. So if it comes back like there's a huge problem, we'll have to see how we have to handle that. But I'll keep you guys updated. I'll keep you updated about what's going on with it. So.
Okay. Thank you, Kimberly.
Uh-huh.
Bill, you have your hand up.
Hi, I was thinking for that, if that water in Chico doesn't work, I forget, but one of our members said they dig wells or drill for wells. That might help out.
Yeah, it was that.
I don't know if there's well water.
That's a divine, and I know about the water. This is Kenny. I can divine that stuff and know that that creek that runs through the property, you can draw water from it. That surface water, you can dam it for a pond and claim it as for fire use, but you can't interrupt the flow. You got to let it keep on flowing, but you can use it and just make a fire pond and then let it run over the top and keep on going.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's right. All the trees that were previously on the property, she had giant ponderosa pines. They're all gone. So all of it's gone. It's just flat. When FEMA came through to do the cleanup, they didn't care about what they were doing. They just leveled everything.
Well, of course not. They had to get rid of the evidence from that Excalibur missile that was launched from the West Coast.
Yeah. So basically, how I'm going to take a look at it is a silver lining. There's no trees to get in the way of, because up in Paradise you also had huge problems with, for so many trees, your veggies wouldn't grow that well. But the way her property faces, she gets great morning light. Perfect. It's literally a really great site. So I'm just going to keep the universe flowing in that way, and it's all going to be good information. So.
Thank you. Bill, did you get the chance to say what you wanted to say, Bill?
Yeah, I'm good. I'll lower my hand.
Just a thought, Kimberly. Do you think it'd be wise to designate part of that property for, let's say, a camping facility or some type of a facility where people can? Yeah, I know it's only 1 acre.
1 acre, no.
But obviously, for anyone that's going to come there and physically participate, where would they be lodging, let's say?
Yeah, we thought about that. You can put tiny homes up really cheap. There's all kinds of different ways. You could do straw bale houses. There's so many. You could do earth bag houses. And because of the way that the soil is here, you could probably berm up over the top. And earth bags are good because they're rated California seismic. So when you put them up, they automatically pass the California seismic codes. So you don't have to screw around with any of that stuff. It's just automatic.
I'm thinking of septic system, because how are you going to take care of those practical issues and water supply?
That's the deal. That's one of the things. Good thing I forgot about that. That's what we talked about that. That's what's stopping a lot of people from doing any other building, is because now that Paradise has to be rebuilt, they're bringing all these higher standards in. And that means everybody has to tie into the city water, because they were a township before. And now all these codes, the same kind of codes that are in Santa Rosa with Deborah Tavares, the 2030 agenda, that plan, the general updated plan, now Paradise is bought into that. So that's a whole other system that we have to take a look at. And what will they require? What's the minimal amount you can do, and then get away with it? Because I know a lot of times you can use porta potties, Johnny's. You can use those. So I don't know.
Right. That is acceptable depending upon how many people are there.
Yes. Yep.
But the 1 acre thing, being limited to 1 acre, it's not all about that. I think what was mentioned here was a good thing, is that if we get this non-incorporated association started, we've got the 1 acre of land to start it. Whether anything grows on the winter on is not important, because I'm looking at plots here in Mendocino that are 1,000 acres. I'm looking at stuff to the south and building a plan for large. But once we get this 1 little acre, you know, and create that foundation, then you know, that will allow us to promote a plan to Kim and Thomas that says, hey, look, we got this 890 acres here, we got this big plot over there, it's facing to the south, the wells will go here and there, and blah, 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 and then things will start moving. So thank you much kudos. I'm going to send that topsoil that way and make that water some good stuff. Make it so.
Okay.
Aho.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I think we're winding down, and I just heard somebody yawn.
Oh, sorry. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I'm not muted.
I'm ready to yawn too.
No,
Don't feel
that's
bad.
terrible. Sorry, guys.
No, it's
I'm
not.
so
It's all
tired.
good.
I'm so tired right now.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
well,
kinda tired.
we're at the top of the hour.
Thanks for
And,
all your hard work, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank you,
gals, for
everybody.
putting the call on.
Thank
Thanks, everybody,
you.
for coming.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much,
Thank you.
Good
everybody.
night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Talk to you tomorrow, Kenny.
Sleep well. Good night.
Good
Thanks,
night.
everyone.
Good night, everyone.